In a week one workshop, we mainly focus on the importance of language experience and how can we as a teacher to guide them to learn how to write. During the class, we had three activities, including playing phonemes and syllable games, introducing and modeling shared writing. There are pedagogy strategies which can engage students to practice and enhance their literacy skills along their writing process. Phonemes and syllables game helps enhance children's phonological awareness. Shared writing supports language development by involving children in writing process. Modeling shared writing provides students the thought process behind constructing sentences and organizing ideas. Sally emphasizes that oracy as the foundation for reading and writing is crucial for developing literacy. The phonemes and syllables game directly supports this by engaging students in active listening and oral manipulation of sounds. The shared writing develops their oral skills further as they learn to think critically about language and its use in different contexts. These activities effectively demonstrate how to foster a classroom environment where students are actively engaged in language use, both orally and in writing. In recreation school contexts, students perform different literacy levels, even in the same class. For example, reception has students who began learning English. In their cases, activities like the phonemes and syllables game are instrumental in developing phonological awareness, a foundational skill for literacy. Modeling shared writing embodies inquiry-based approach that not only provides clear introduction about the writing ideas for English beginning learners, but also gives more information for high-level readers in class. Shared writing supports students have varied language backgrounds and learning needs to practice writing individually. In conclusion, these talks ensuring each child at Red Creek School has the opportunity to develop strong literacy skills in an inclusive, supportive environment. Week two's workshop continued to connect the literature and theory to classroom practice. We are introduced to some tools and strategies which can help children deepen the understanding of phonemic awareness and practice writing. First, the Albany box task represents the discrete phonemes in word visually and it can engage the whole class to play. Fellows and Ugly emphasize this as crucial in helping children develop foundational writing skills, and this game perfectly matches the inquiry of students. The most expressive part is the mini lesson, which provides more ideas for my future teaching. I learned how to use a narrative story to show children the structure of the story, word groups and sentences so that they know how to create their own story based on these principles and expand their vocabularies. Then, through modeled shared writing, can give more information about the following writing task for students. This ties in with Selim ideas about reflective practice. Being able to refine my techniques based on immediate feedback was incredibly valuable. The shared writing start with a character story at a quick and share the story to group members. Back to the case of Red Creek School. It has rich reading resources and equipment that support students' daily writing. In addition, it locates in rural area which facilitates the relationship between children and nature. The location and features of the school can create opportunities for children to write with different purposes. For example, the school has old pepper trees, gum trees, and vegetable garden. We can ask students to write about their observation of plants or record the process they look after the garden. Shared writing not only helps students develop their writing skills but also encourages learning and collaboration, which are particularly beneficial in a small, diverse school setting. For instance, shared writing could be used to integrate the experiences of recently arrived refugee students, making the writing process more inclusive and culturally responsive. This week, we mainly focus on teaching and the learning circle, which demonstrates the role of the teacherships in primary literacy teaching. This framework supports the development of students' knowledge, skills, and understanding through a structured process that consists of four key stages: building the field, modeling, joint construction, independent construction. In context building, teachers' role is to introduce the context and content, providing background knowledge and vocabulary that students will need. In modeling, the teacher demonstrates how to approach a task or solve a problem. In joint construction, teacher works collaboratively with students to create a product. At independent construction, students work independently and teachers' role shifts to provide feedback and support as students take on a task by themselves. In simple terms, the change of teacher's role is from I do it to we do it to I watch to reflect. One key area where the role of the teacher shifts is in promoting extended classroom talk. In teaching and learning circle progresses, the teacher encourages more student-centered dialogue. For example, instead of asking questions that have a single correct answer, the teacher might ask open-ended questions that require students to think critically, and the teacher tends to facilitate discussions. In the case of Berkeley School, they have diverse backgrounds and reading level students. The pedagogical practice demonstrates the application of teaching and learning circle and the repertoires for readings. For example, they have group tasks including guided reading, which is I do. Their tasks in activity centers represent you do, I help. In this part, they have using painting, box construction, puzzles for students to express. It helps us to understand their repertoires for reading. Individual tasks like daily writing and reading is you do, I watch. Moreover, we can ask children open-ended questions to assess children's different repertoires. For example, in the book Where the Wild Things Are, we can ask them to predict about the story from the cover pictures or what's the theme of this story. In week 4, to explore writing narrative further, we organize more activities to help children learn more in shared reading. Firstly, we did the mapping task by using hoops to unpack the structure of the story. The labels of setting, orientation, complication, and resolution are put in each hoop and let students sort sentences to hoops can help in teaching students to anticipate story flow, which is crucial for both comprehension and writing. We also create literature in workshop that create texts based on characters of the story we read together. This activity probably reinforced the creative process of narrative construction, from brainstorming ideas to drafting and revising. MacDonald emphasized how crucial of examining literature in learning literacy by sequencing events in the plot, abstracting theme and symbol, evoking mood and vocabulary from texts. Children can map out their own writing structure, which help them organize their thoughts and ensure they include all necessary elements. As they write, they can refer to their character map to maintain consistency in character behavior and development. Creating literature is their individual task to practice their writing skills and test their understanding of what they learned. For the rhetoric school classroom, simplify the mapping process for younger or less advanced students by replacing mental language with basic words and questions. For example, label sections with beginning, middle, end. What happened first? How they solved the problem? Using visual aids like pictures or puppet to help students sense the mood of characters and match descriptive words abstracted from the text to characters. This can make the activity more accessible for students who may struggle with abstract concepts or vocabularies. For their writing tasks, we can pair students for peer support, ensuring that more advanced students can help those who may need additional guidance. In this week, we started to talk about descriptive and explanatory reports, examined the different genres of information reports. Firstly, we engaged non-group sheet to practice how to describe an item precisely. For example, we need to fill a pointer, quantifier, describer, classifier for the main num, which gives more specific for the main num. Then we compared the difference between descriptive and explanatory reports. In this part, we also use the hoop again as an aid to map out the structure of a descriptive report. Finally, we did partner tasks that choose a report topic related to a context of recre school. All these activities align closely with the strategies outlined in Chapter 20 of Literacy and Early Childhood Education. To adapt these workshops tasks for the recre school classroom, I will choose a nonfiction text as a guidance. Starting with the identification of noun groups in sentences before progression to more complex tasks to adapt all level students. This gradual progression supports the idea of building student compe- competence step by step. As recommended by Fellows and Oakley, collaborative learning activities where students work together to identify and create non-groups would encourage peer support and discussion. In advantage of the natural environment of recre school, we can arrange students to choose an object from school and have an on-site observation for creating their own descriptive or explanatory text. It helped it can help them apply their learning and in meaningful and relevant contexts, ensuring that the key strategies for teaching writing are effectively implemented. Below is the reference I used in all my video diaries. Thank you for listening.